Hello and welcome to Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Rocco. Welcome, one and all.
Welcome.
As we are within striking distance, I see a little bit under 3 weeks of New York Comic Con.
18 days.
And we also have an update for you guys concerning the WGA slash AMPTP strike.
First, what's more important? Let's get to that, which is the writers' strike.
Because this just happened, people. Literally last night.
Go ahead, Marco.
Okay, we are on day 146 of the Writers Guild of America and the Allied moving picture television producers strike. What are the key points are the percentage of AI use, how many writers in the room staffing level wise for projects, transparency for streaming numbers, and equal and better percentage of streaming revenue. Of
Which
course, fair wage.
Almost nothing they get.
Almost nothing. There was one guy that came on that said he was a joint writer for 3 episodes on a hit show, which he didn't name for obvious reasons, and he got 36 cents.
Yeah, I do believe one of the co-writers from She-Hulk.
Oh yeah,
said I think they got
she got almost the same amount of the check that the dude wrote for Milk in the movie.
Yeah,
so
paltry. So obviously we know that they're severely underpaid. And I know it's difficult to, in this economy, in this day and age, to side with people who are striking, who supposedly make millions and millions of dollars. But that is where everything gets a little twisted and the lines get blurred. We're not talking about Stephen King, for example, if he were to write a screenplay. We're not talking about Aaron Sorkin. We're not talking about the high end. We're not talking about James Cameron or the high Akiva Goldsman, the high end freaking screenwriters and writers for shows. We're talking about the fifth writer in the room for Billions, or we're talking about the writer who just got a credit on an episode of Supernatural. I know Supernatural's gone, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Right. Editors, research assistants, ghostwriters, you name it. They're all part of this. And, those guys you just mentioned, the big hitters, they negotiate their own salary and percentages, royalties, whatnot, off to the side. They're not really included in here, although they are. But by and large, what you're talking about are those, I wouldn't say fringe guys, but those are supporting cast.
Yeah, which is in the same thing in association to what the actors, when they're talking about Julia Roberts and Ryan Gosling and Brad Pitt and the Leonardo DiCaprio, the major hitters. We're talking about the ancillary supporting actors. We're talking about the people behind the scenes. We're talking about the people walking around in the background that studios want to duplicate them via AI one time, and they have their likeness and image in perpetuity. And that is one of the huge sticking points, besides also the streaming revenues and a piece of the pie and more stuff. I mentioned that there's only one portion that the Writers Guild has, potentially, or it seems that they've agreed to. We're not talking about the actors yet.
No, the actors should come after this because you can't have one with the other. I mean, there's a lot of shows solidarity, which they credit to moving this process along. There were some rumors of even James Gunn, but there were some rumors of some late night talk shows that were going to kind of break the line.
Oh, and there was some daytime talk shows in particular. The Drew Barrymore show.
Yes, there's a big controversy.
Which he really got dragged through the mud a bit when they were gonna, she was going to continue production. Obviously, she, decided against.
She pulled back.
So, and mind you, she's her family's old Hollywood. We're talking about a major, major player. She may not be A-list as far as an actress right now, but the name is synonymous with Hollywood.
It carries weight.
Exactly.
So one estimation is that so far with the strike and halted production, the California economy has taken a hit of $5 billion.
Yeah, of course.
But that proves the case on the striker side of, you see what happens. You see the huge chunk of money and revenue that is lost when you don't have them in support in conjunction with the actors. But it goes to show this is a big pot, and all they're asking for is a fairer share of it. And it's time. It's a good thing that the money talks, and now some knees buckle. We're not saying they're caving completely, but at least there is a tentative agreement reached, and now they have to ratify and go through that whole process of voting and the whole deal, and going to make sure the language is correct. There's no loopholes in there. You got to get all your lawyers in here. So why are you paying those big bucks to make sure you're not going to get screwed? And I believe it's not a long one. I think it's only like a 3-year deal.
You figure as if this gets done, then you at least you have a framework of a deal to come. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, framework of okay, in 3 years, we really want we got this, so we need a little more on this side. Now, I guess see what happens. Maybe what the studios, because I do believe four big studio heads were there, and particularly Bob Iger was there, among others. And so I guess they want to get things done, you know?
Yeah, and you know what that means, because now here comes Raka and his aluminum hat conspiracy theorist. Right
Yeah.
now, even before this is happening, they reached a deal just to make the cogs go. But in
Alien.
the background, the AI people, I'm sure, is behind the scenes trying to work on a better program that won't get filtered through. You know what I'm saying? That whatever percentage they agree on, once 3 years is up or a new deal comes, they will circumvent that. It's inevitable.
I mean, look, right now you have AI that can create um screenplays and movies and TV shows and stories up to the level of make it coherently, coherent and I guess probably probably good, but can they replicate the human condition? Can they replicate, which is the whole thing we've been talking about by AI in the first place? Can AI think like a human being?
I think,
We're gonna get to that point eventually, and as Rocka mentioned, with the tinfoil hat, that's what these guys are probably banking on in 3 years. That it'll get so much closer. They can say, you know what? All right, we'll give you guys 5 cents on the dollar. You know what? F off then. Bye bye now.
right, now we're good. Because once they have proven commodities out there and they reveal only to themselves this was all AI generated, and the public loved it, bought it, it's done. It's over.
Well, it's a matter of time. I mean, it's a matter of time for before Netflix gets their hands on something and they do it. I already saw the other day. I saw an interactive romantic comedy that was so bland and generic, and that it could have been created on AI.
Or even worse, it could have been humans and say, you guys suck.
What?
All right. Well, good news, though. Good news for the industry right now. And it leads into hopefully good news for one of our favorite activities, Comic Con.
Yes, New York Comic Con 2023, October what, 12, 13, 14, and 15 in good old New York City, the Jacob Javits. Now, every year around this time, either the first, second week of October, Reed Pop, they put on this magnificent show. Second, some say second to none to only San Diego Comic Con. Some say it's even bigger. But realistically, they go back and forth with the attendance numbers. I think New York has it Yeah, I think in a couple of years ago, I think they actually surpassed San Diego. But as Rocka knows, because Rocka went to San Diego Comic Con, the sheer size and magnitude of that convention, it dwarfs New York Comic Con as far as size is concerned, and stuff that goes on within said convention. But it doesn't mean that the Jacob Javits is no slouch. They have a new building, pavilion or whatever it's called, that will house a lot more people. And this year, which is kind of interesting, they're actually adding some after dark stuff, which is after the convention has ended. You have after parties and the like. That being said, Rocka, what do you got for us for?
All right. So, in many research and articles that I've encountered, they are expecting well over 200,000 participants this year. And obviously, it's a healthy recovery from pandemic numbers and the post pandemic one, which is a huge number. I think last year or something, it was like 150 or around the neighborhood. So, talking about 50,000 more participants. Now, Reed Pop has undergone recent changes at the top. A lot of administration, a lot of people left. One big guy left to do sports memorabilia, trying to generate a whole new sports con for cards, memorabilia, signings, the whole deal. Trying to replicate the Comic Con experience, but with cards. So there have been also a lot of not a lot of pullouts. Now, obviously, last year there was a big disappointment, right? There was a lot of people that decided not to go. Big hitters. A lot of them have cited, which I call out, I'm going to hit the bullshit meter now. They're citing it as New York City has become so expensive, which it is. We both live here. We know it's out of control right now. But these are Marvel, publishing houses, Midtown Comics. Yeah, BS. I call BS. You have the money. You just choose not to go for whatever reason. Some have chosen to not put a booth, but they're going to do other promotions. Like we just said before, actors currently under the strike cannot promote current and future projects, but they can go on the panel and talk about the past.
Exactly.
But somebody like William Shatner refuses to talk anything about Star Trek. It's almost like, why the hell are you there then?
Well, let me give you a perfect example. You have the guests of honor so far, because New York Comic Con is fluid up until the day of. They're still announcing guests. All right, rumor has it that Mark Ruffalo is supposed to be showing up. They had slipped up and put a autograph or something, and then they took it down quickly. But since I do believe he lives in New York, and you have other members of the Avengers going to be there as the Marvel, so he actually might show up. So you have Chris Evans, obviously, Captain America himself. You have Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Tom Hiddleston, Loki, and they added Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who
nice.
Obviously we know
General Sadala.
Ahsoka now. So, and I mean, behind the scenes, she's also married to Ewan McGregor. So that's kind of not surprising that she. And then you have your big number of comic book artists, what would you call Artist Alley. We have all the artists that you can shake a stick at. They're there for signatures and artwork and the like. Plus, you have some, I'm not going to say B or C, but you have other actors from other shows. Like you have Chris Carpenter will be there from Buffy, and I think James Marsters, and you have wrestlers like Adam Cole and MJF will be there. I think Sting is also going to show up.
And I'm better than you, and you know it.
Yeah, you have Michael Rooker. You have it's a pretty
Michael Rooker. We've had Michael
hectic. David Tennant. You have a pretty decent. You have Katie Sackhoff will be there. Yeah, Book
Starbucks.
Yes. So it's a pretty decent size guest list, especially at least in the past. From my knowledge, Reed Pop never paid anyone to go to the show. Now that ended when I do believe 3 or 4 years ago, they invited Mark Hamill, in which they did pay him. So I don't know if these guests were paid by Reed Pop themselves or they are,
Let's circle back to the artist alley. So obviously, a couple things. 250 applicants this year.
Okay.
2,500 applicants this year for 380 seats. They had to, in the recent years, downsize the amount of seats available because they opened up a little section called the writer's block. So they wanted to now, they have to accommodate both. So that's fine. I like it. Unfortunately, 380 get in. That's whatever their criteria is. But the reason I bring this up too is, do you remember what happened last year?
Well, many things happened last year. Are we talking about the Peach Momoko debacle?
Let's hit Peach.
All right. Well, what's funny is that Peach last year, she's an up and coming artist. She draws. I wish I had a book right with me right now, which I do not have it. But all right, suffice to say, she is one of the hottest artists right now, especially her variant covers, and she's a sweetheart. So she was letting people. She was getting what?
She's signing 10, like 10 per person.
10 per person. So
no charge.
Yeah, you wasn't charging, and she was
That's
even
bananas.
sketches. So everyone. Now here is one of my pet peeves, and I know I have friends who are in this as Raka, does as well, who are vendors, who are artists, who are they represent artists and vendors. Okay, and let's say the doors open at 10 o'clock, correct? All right.
Correct. The Monday.
VIPs and whatever, I think they might
an hour early.
An hour early. All right. Now, if let's say, for example, you're working the weekend for a certain vendor, okay, and you're a fan, or maybe not you're a fan, but you know that a certain artist is hot right now, and if you can go and get 10 books signed,
you're gonna flip that.
You're gonna flip them, and you're gonna get there, and the true fans who got there, who stayed 3-4 hours waiting, and I hate to say it, not all true fans, because you have many of those who do the same. And what the artists and the writers do to combat it, they'll be like, "Oh, to whom do I write this? For?"
Right. So you make it personal.
Exactly, and you see how quickly they be like, "No, you know what? I don't want it." Because would you buy a book signed to Izzy if your name is not Izzy?
It depends. Once we come big time, baby, I want that.
Unless it's AF-15, you don't want that. Okay. So yeah. So you had a shit ton of people, and we are in New York, and I cannot apologize. Some New Yorkers, and they were shoving matches on near fights broke out, to the point where Peach got
scared.
Yeah, she was distressed,
and she busted out of there. So it became an unfortunate bad experience for fangoers, fanboys and girls, and for artists. So unfortunately, we have to touch on this because we did experience this last year, and it's well documented. There was widespread theft. One person actually died. There was the Peach debacle. There was a few other things that happened. I personally have somebody in the family that got her phone picked. iPhone was picked. So the other thing that I could not find anything about is how are they upgrading security?
Well, let's be honest.
Especially in light of they're expecting way more people.
I don't think they are, because the thing is, what they have said, they have mentioned that they have undercover security. They have, which are, NYPD and various other agencies. Not to mention, they also have them in the entrance. And I do believe there might be Port Authority. They might be also there. I mean, I guess they might have run that.
There's Jacob Javits.
Yeah, or or state police or something. I'm not. Is
The
that?
municipality. Yeah, no, definitely the police presence was there on the outside.
And they also hire a security team, a security, I think Citadel or one of those big, big conglomerates. But at the same time, if you're a guy who gets hired for the event, it's human nature.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks because
Something big happens, okay, something big happens, and obviously you would do your job. But if something,
I mean, sidebar, everybody be on the lookout as more information trickles down from Comic Con. Myself and Izzy are gonna post or updated versions on your 2023 Comic Con survival guide. Did very well last year. A lot of good feedback on our suggestions, tips, bathrooms, money, food, vendors, um, the first aid kit for cosplay, stuff like that. Things that you if you're new to it, you may not know, and things that even if you're a seasoned vet can help you out, especially as changes come down the pipe. What's allowed in, what's allowed out, blah 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 blah. But with that said, we're both going to be there. I think Izzy might have more days than I. Definitely Saturday's a big day. Again, we'll have our promotion thing, but we'll trickle out a little later as we get closer to opening day. Okay, let's move up to the floor. Penguin Random House will be there. I don't think they were there last time. Macmillan Publishing House will be there. Marvel will have a booth.
yeah,
DC will not have a booth. Yes.
Marvel has come back. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, they have not been there in a couple years.
Yes, which is maybe there's a void they're picking up. Maybe they know the product's sinking like a stone, and they need to reassert their presence.
Well, not only that, I mean, after Funko's return last year, they make the triumphant return back, and Funko is hemorrhaging money, but that's a whole other episode. Well, so
Oh yeah, no, that would be a good one.
we'll be
A
there.
lot of people will chime in on that one, but
Uh,
DC will not have a booth.
well, since let me
Dark Horse will not have a booth.
and you know what's crazy? Dark Horse is they're promoting the Artist Alley.
So yes, they're going to do promotions, but they're not going to have a booth.
Yeah, which is
And
crazy.
same with Image.
Yeah,
Image no booth.
have not been there in 2-3 years either. They have not
Yeah.
been.
So I mean, I don't know if they think it's not cost effective or what their deal is. I get it. They're going to have a booth square footage size that's going to be tens of thousands for the 4 days, and they hire staff, and then you got to get things in there. But at the same time, you're one of the major heavy hitters in the comic book world. This is New York City Comic Con. The city itself has 8 million people. It's going to be flooded with tons of hardcore fanboys, fangirls.
And more, we get more and more anime. So
Forget it. Anime gamers is like they're infringing upon space.
which is fine. I mean, hey, to each his own. I mean, hey, I'm I love me some anime.
No, but like you just mentioned now. So again, this is more for the novice guys or the fringe people who want to come. But your hardcore people, you already know this. You got the gamer section. You got toys and merch pretty much lining the perimeter. You got the publishing houses. You have the big, AMC, Marvel. You got the big production companies. And then you have the anime guys on the side. They're growing. I mean, it's very expansive. The gamers guys has like interactive stuff all the time, lying around the block.
That's a huge thing. Crunchyroll. You have all these, all these big boys.
I believe Anime Con last year set a record of the highest attendance it's ever been. So it's not stopping, it's not shrinking. And one of the things they attribute to was the pandemic. More people stayed home, more people binged what they normally would not watch. They binge series, years long worth of anime. And you get a whole new generation of fans. Yeah. So it is what it is. And those are some of the latest news that we have uncovered. I mean, obviously, by design, information will trickle out there as we come closer.
Another big question and big issue is because of the strike. How does that affect New York Comic Con?
Exactly. So we know that there's been a suspension to the picketing. Okay. Mm-hmm. We will have to just be pinning our ears back, waiting for anything, our ear to the ground, any news of lifting a kind of ban. You know what I'm saying? Because we got, what are we, 13 days out, something like that.
No, I think it's like
15 days. It's on the 12th. We're already 25th. All right. Let's say roughly
17
under
days.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard pressed for something that fast to happen. There's already suspension in the picketing, which is good. Will they now lift the ban of participation and verbal promotion?
I don't know because the which was getting at the panels are different.
Yeah, the key.
You have like one of the big panels which I was trying to get into, and I mean, me and Rocco will actually watch it. Is the Scott Pilgrim Takes Off panel
That's gonna be huge
from Netflix? Now it was supposed to be Brian Lee O'Malley, the creator of Scott Pilgrim. I do believe also, geez, I forgot his name right now. Edgar Wright, and the producer of the Netflix show were going to be there, but obviously no guests were going to be there because for obvious reasons, because we're going to strike. You know?
Can't talk about it.
Not to mention there's going to be Walking Dead, but no one's going to say anything. You're going to have Blumhouse, but no one's going to say anything. They're just going to show certain things, Archer, etc., Shining Veil, a bunch of other stuff, but not as rich or as exciting as other years for obvious reasons. So take that in consideration. But it's a fantastic time, and if anyone, no matter from what walk of life, whatever you like, you need to go either to NYCC or SDCC at least once in your life, and really just get hit with the culture right upside your face.
All right, so now let's have a little fun with this because the news is, uneven, it's up and down. Speculate for us. What do you think will be the most common cosplays you're going to see out there this year?
Oh boy. I mean, obviously you're going to have, I think we're going to see a million Barbies. Every Barbie under the sun, I think we're going to see.
Dude, that could go as the other Ken.
And I think it will be enough Kens more than.
Then should I be another Ditto Ken?
Why not?
Maybe I'll do a fan poll and see what happens. Yes, I agree with you. I think we're going to see a ton of Spider-Man, Spider-Verse.
Yeah, tons of Spider-Gwens. We're going to see that. That's going to be huge. You might have a little uptick in Super Mario Brothers. You probably have some uptick in Star Wars characters, in particular Ahsoka and all the like.
Very well. Ahsoka will be huge.
You're always going to have your Harley Quinns and Poison Ivies and Batmans and so on and so forth. But you might get some Last of Us. You might get some extra Last of Us.
Oh, that'd be cool if we get a couple of mushroom heads.
A cordyceps. Yeah,
good work. Too late to get my hands on that. That would be cool.
So, but we'll be here. We'll be there. We'll show you guys. We'll have video. We'll have interviews. We'll have all the good stuff that.
Yes, and we're going to broadcast live as best as our internets allow, since we're not going to get the upgraded package because we don't participate in highway robbery.
Exactly. That being said, there's not much more to say, but stay tuned for next episodes in which we'll have more to say. Well, now, more information. How about that?
More is more and less is less. So I leave you with those wise words.
Let us know if you guys are going to New York Comic Con and what days you're going to attend. So we'll meet up and, you get some stickers.
Absolutely. All right. I'm Raka.
I'm Izzy.
See you there at the con. Remember to always save the whales.
Take care, guys.
Strike, 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 strike.
There you go. There you go.